and today's video is my second Halloween tutorial of this year, and I am so excited to show you guys this one. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I have seen a few different photos of different things that I have taken inspiration from. I've partly taken inspo from Crispy's gangster clown tutorial, but then I also saw photos of just blood and gore and ripping skin. So the idea that I had in my head was a clown mask that had been ripped off one face onto the next one, so you were like a clown face stealer kind of thing. However, as I was going through and filming, I kind of took a little bit of a different approach and just decided that all the normal clown makeup lines I was just going to do kind of bloody with this unreal, this is my favourite purchase I think for Halloween completely, the coagulated blood from Mayron. This honestly made this tutorial so much easier. I did buy this face and body wax and I was super excited to use it because I've seen people do amazing creations with face and body wax, but you will see in the tutorial this just didn't work for me. It wasn't cooperating. I think I might have bought a really crappy brand of it as well and that didn't help, but it wasn't working at all. So you don't need skin wax for this. All you really do need is some coagulated blood and like a tiny little bit of this cotton stuff, like a cotton pad, ripped up cotton pad, and that's really all that you need. And I really like doing Halloween looks where you could kind of incorporate still a little bit of a sleigh. So like my last one, I did the eyes super smoky, and this time as well I've gone hard with the eyes. I completely winged it. As you will see, we had a few different turns in this. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this bloody clown mask costume, then just keep on watching. I am completely winging this. Okay, so I really had no idea what I was doing, as you will see a little bit later on. But the first thing I started out doing was taking a white eyeliner. I started marking out where I wanted my blood and gore to go, and the way that I marked this out is I took the inspiration from Crispy's gangster clown mask, where she did her gangster clown lines. I kind of marked out a similar situation with this white pencil, and this is where I wanted to put my blood and gore. So I did it around the cheekbones in a similar way to when I did my skull, so just looped it under my eyes and then over the bridge of my nose. Then I also did it over my eyebrows in the typical clown fashion, in two little long triangles above my eyebrows, and then I also did a Chelsea grin extension of my lips. And what you want to do with this area is just elongate the natural line of your lips. You just want to curve it out from the line of your lips and curve it slightly up so it just looks like a really exaggerated smile. Would recommend you not to do this. I'm keeping it in to show you what you don't need to do. So I took some skin wax that I bought online and tried to put it along the lines of the white. As you can see, I'm thinking quite hard because it's just not working. It's not sticking on at all. And then I tried to stick it on with eyelash glue, and this did not work at all. So you don't even need this skin wax. It did not work at all. All you need is a tiny little bit of cotton wool torn up and some eyelash glue. So I started tracing along the white lines, and then I took a little bit of cotton wool. I soon realised that I was using way more cotton wool than is necessary. You really don't need a lot at all, because the coagulated blood special effects that we're going to use does a lot of the work for us. You really just need a tiny bit of texture to cling to. As you can see, I've got this massive chunk of the skin wax on my nose. You obviously will not do this step if you recreate this. I just want to show you my struggle because I was winging this. I had no idea what I was doing, and I just wanted to show you that this was just not a great time, and it kept peeling off, and I was getting so frustrated because I just had no idea what I was doing. So I wanted to keep it in just to show you that you don't need to do this step, and if you want to recreate it, we'll just skip straight onto the bits that I will tell you are necessary. Then I'm also just going in and sticking a little bit of cotton wool onto that glue. Half of my face has got some crappy skin wax stuck on it that just was no bueno. It just did not work out how I needed it to be. It was so sticky and it was just not a good time. Would not recommend using that at all. I wanted to leave that be for a while before I got too angry, and then I did the lip pencil. I'm just taking, this is just a NYX blood red kind of coloured lip liner. You don't really need to do this, but this was just a baseline for where I was going to stick that little bit of cotton wool and start the coagulated blood off. The Chelsea grin, as you can see, we're just extending the lines of the mouth just a little bit higher up and wider, because if you don't know what a Chelsea grin is, it's where you stick a credit card or a bit of plastic in your mouth and smash someone's head on a pavement to give them a Chelsea grin. It's what all the gangsters used to do way back in the day. It's terrible, it's absolutely grim. You might have seen it on films before. It's awful, but it does look quite cool to recreate it. Here I'm using quite a lot of cotton wool. I didn't realise that I really did not need this much. So a tip for you guys is don't use that much cotton wool, just use the tiniest little amount just to give the coagulated blood a tiny bit to stick to. Like, I'm actually peeling off quite a lot of the cotton wool, as you can see here, because it wasn't worth it. It was too much. I was trying to do too much and it just was not working out. So I'm just peeling off the whole of that skin wax. Then the coagulated blood I'm using is from Mayron. I would definitely recommend coagulated blood rather than special normal drippy blood, because this gives you a lot more texture, it shows scabs and it gives the real effect of a deep cut wound, and the effect we're trying to give is like someone has ripped half a face off someone else and onto theirs and has just cut a deep wound. So I took any brush that I could find. You just want kind of a small, relatively stiff brush, and you just start stippling the coagulated blood on. Then I decided I wanted to blank out my lips because it would give a better effect of the blood, kind of show more of a contrast between the two. So I took some foundation, popped it on my lips and set it in place with a powder, and continued on with the other side of the Chelsea grin, just stippling on the coagulated blood. You have to go on a few layers because at first you start off with quite a bright red colour, but then as you build up the layers it gives you more of a dark colour, adding a bit of texture and showing a bit of sort of clotting and all that lovely blood special effects. And then again, don't do this, but in a second I decide to put some blood in the centre of my lips. I thought it looked cool, like a bit of a cross situation going on, but I then further on decided I didn't like that and I liked the effect of the nude lips in contrast to the Chelsea grin. So I wouldn't recommend putting the blood in the centre like I'm doing now. Just leave it blank and save yourself rubbing it off later like I did. So this stuff, Ellie, why are you doing this? Stop it. But as I said, I was winging this whole look. I was just going on what I thought would look cool. So I just did a lot of playing around, which I personally like doing because it gives me the best effect at the end. But to save you some time, don't bother putting blood in the centre of your lips. As you can see, yep, it's pretty messy. Moving back onto the lines above the eyebrows, I'm taking a little bit of eyelash glue and sticking on a little bit more cotton wool. I haven't stuck any on the eyebrows yet, so I'm sticking some onto the eyebrows as a base for the coagulated blood, and then basically the same effect as I did with the Chelsea grin I'm doing in the eyebrows and just stippling it on and adding a few layers just to build up a bloody wound effect. And then moving on to the mask area, I guess you would say, and I'm literally, as you can see, taking the coagulated blood, dipping my brush into it and stippling it right on top of the cotton wool. This liquid latex, this skin wax area was just really just killing my vibe, so I just took it all off. I just ripped it all off. It was not good at all. So again, like I said earlier, a little goes a long way with the cotton wool. Don't use skin wax, just use a tiny bit of cotton wool as a base for the coagulated blood, and you'll be onto a winner, and it will be so much easier for you and quicker than it has been for me. A wasp flew into my room, as you will just see that reaction. A wasp literally flew in and I got completely surprised there. After the wasp situation has been sorted, we go back in to finish the mask area off, and this is the pretty easy section. You just want to keep going in and building up the coagulated blood layers. Just keep dipping in your pot and adding onto the base trace line that we were working with. Again, all these fiddly bits that I'm doing are because that skin wax had some remnants on my face and I was just trying to peel them off, so this isn't something that you'll have to deal with. And I just kept adding and adding and adding until I'd got sufficient amount of texture and blood on the skin area as I wanted. So as you can see here, going in, doing the eyebrow section, and you just want to go in and add as much or as little as you fancy, really. It's completely up to you how much blood you add on. I just went in until I'd got some darker areas and some lighter areas. That way it's going to give it a more realistic wound effect. Moving on from the blood to some shadowing, we want to create a bit of shadowing and definition. I'm taking a matte purpley shade from my 35N palette from Morphe, and yeah, I'm actually mixing a couple of colours together. You just want to have a darker colour that kind of looks a bit like bruising and a bit like shadowing as well. And I'm just taking this on a flatter Urban Decay brush, and I'm just applying this underneath the blood area, and this is going to, again, give us some definition, create some shadowing, that sort of fun stuff. So I'm just tracing the whole line of the mask all the way around. Gone a little bit too low with some blood, so I'm here just going in with some foundation and kneading up the lines, but as long as you stick to your trace lines you won't really need to do that. And then just going in with those shading brushes again and adding some more of that purple shadow to create some bruising and shadow definition. I also took the shadow a little bit too far down, so I'm baking just to clean up the lines again. What I did find is that the brush I was using was too thick, so make sure that you use quite a small shader brush and you'll be good to go and you won't need to do that. And here you can see I'm taking off the blood from the centre of my lips and giving it back the neutral lips. Again, you won't need to do that. I'm merely leaving all of these steps in just to show you guys that you can miss all of these and save yourself a lot of time when you're doing this Halloween tutorial. Then I'm taking a gel liner, this one's from Morphe as well, and I'm adding a little black circle onto my nose, again keeping with kind of a dark clown theme. I left one area light as a little bit of shadow just to create more of a 3D looking nose. I didn't add a shadow in or anything, I just didn't fill in the whole of the black circle. Then I'm just tidying up under my eyes with a little bit of setting powder because we did originally put some white lines there, which we didn't end up using. I didn't think I wanted to put blood under there just because I thought we've got a lot going on anyway, so we'll just keep that area light. And then I added a little bit of mascara to the bottom lashes, and that is the completed look. So as long as you kind of listen to my advice on what not to do, like don't bother using that skin wax and don't bother putting the blood in the centre of your lips, and use a small shader brush when you're doing the bruising, you'll be good to go. I just wanted to leave those steps in so that you can see where to not go wrong. Alright guys, that's the end of the tutorial. I really hope that you did enjoy it. If you recreate it, please tag me, send me photos. I would love to see your recreations of this. Thumbs it up, subscribe, all that good stuff. All my social media links are in the description, and happy Halloween! I hope that you have a great Halloween whatever you are doing, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!